Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So yesterday we started talking about making for yourself a teacher. That was step one of the statements of Yosef ben Yochanan. Oh, sorry, of Rabbi Chanan ben Prachia. And teacher is on one level, and the second part is talking about acquiring a friend. I'm just going to put the screen back up for a second if I could find it. There it is. And so we can just get the words again, because there's a little nuance here. Yehoshua ben Prachia was the one who spoke here. He said, Aseh lecha rav, right? Make for yourself a teacher. And then uknei lecha chaver, but acquire for yourself a friend. There's a difference between making of yourself a teacher and acquiring. Acquiring, the word for acquiring here is kinyan. Kinyan is usually a transaction. When you want to buy something, right? I give you money or some other thing of value, and then in transfer, I get the item that I'm purchasing. So there's an element of acquisition, and therefore, when it comes to first of all, teachers, one angle is, especially a Torah teacher really is not supposed to get paid. A person should be teaching Torah for free. Obviously, we have to make a living just to be able to feed our family. So officially we say, oh, you know what, you're getting paid for the time you're giving up that you could have used to earn money. You're not getting paid directly for the actual teaching of Torah. That's the concept. But when it comes to acquiring a friend, you have to actually go out of your way. If sometimes it's not so easy to get a friend. Sometimes, especially if you really want to have good friends, you have to compromise. You have to give up things. Anyone who doesn't give up anything is highly unlikely to have a good friend. So you have to exert an effort to acquire a friend. And the compromising of your own needs and your own wants, that's what you're giving into the transaction. Rabbeinu Yonah points out that he says there are three ideas, there are three purposes in terms of what is a good friend. Why do you need a good friend? He says the three functions of a good friend. First one, he says it's going to increase your Torah study. It's going to enable you to study more. It's also a good friend is going to make sure that you stay on the right path, and is going to ensure that you do your mitzvahs, you do what you're supposed to do. A good friend is going to provide you with constructive criticism, not criticism, constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is unfortunately something that's not so easy to do, right? To be able to tell someone that they did something wrong without alienating them and without putting them down. So a good friend can do that. And the third thing that you need a friend for is advice. And for to someone to be as a confidant who you could tell things to, and you know it's not going to go any further, right? Everyone needs someone to talk to. So a good friend is someone who will listen to you, keep your secrets, and also be able to give you the advice that is appropriate for you, that has your best interests at heart. So those are functions of the friend. Not so easy to find. So he said, if you can't find a friend for free, spend some money or use words. What do you mean spend money? Spend money. It's not you're not literally buying the person's friend, but what you are doing is doing things for that other person, which will endear them to you, and therefore they'll be more willing to be close to you. Or do it with words. Make the person feel good about you. Speak nicely when you talk to them, right? Listen to what that other person has to say. Somebody has an opinion that you may not agree with, don't jump on it and immediately disagree with what they say. Build the relationship so that it's going to be one that is a two-way relationship. And basically, you have to give that person time and really respect. Um, Rashi actually points out that your book, your Torah book, is your friend. Like we said, a chavrusa, a friend, someone who connects to you. Um, One thing I may have mentioned it yesterday was if making when we talked about making a teacher, make yourself a teacher was to make yourself a teacher, not just to find a teacher for yourself. If you make yourself into a teacher, you will acquire friends. In the wording in the Mishnah, it said aseh lecha rav, make for yourself a rav, and then there was a connector, ukene, and acquire. So you could read it as the two independent statements, but you could also read it as they're connected to each other. You do this, and that will happen as well. Rabbi Tversky says, what's the term that we use for friend? Chaver. The word chaver, the Hebrew word chaver, means to bind. That's what it means, the chaber, to bind something together. Two things can only bind together if you're smooth. Right? If you want to glue one thing to another, there has to be a smoothness. You have to be able to. If there's things that are sticking out, it doesn't. The glue's not going to stick. So it says if you're a person who is insensitive, you're a person who's selfish. So those are like protrusions. Those are things that are sticking out. It's not going to stick. You're not going to be able to have a chaver. You're not going to be able to bind with somebody else, and therefore you have to be able to give. You have to be able to give up your own selfish things if you want to be able to connect with others. The Seforno points out that when you talk about a friend, acquire a friend who is, he says, similar to you. He uses the concept of birds of a feather flock together, right? That if you have, he actually quotes the idea of birds. He says that the people who have similar values, similar interests, those are people who are most likely to be able to connect. And therefore, seek out people who have similar values to yourself, similar views, and those are the people who you're going to be able to get close to as well. The last part, maybe we'll just touch on it, we'll leave the rest for tomorrow, is to judge favorably, to judge everyone favorably. When it comes to judging favorably, it's not always so easy. We know sometimes you see somebody and how do you figure out how what they're doing is okay? So you have to work at it. First of all, we divide different categories of people. It's not the same level of how you judge people. If you see someone who is your average person, so try to judge them favorably. Don't immediately jump to be a negative. Someone who is righteous, who is known to be a righteous person, even if everything there looks, I'm going to say even 100%, but 99.9% that there's something wrong there, you still, if there's even that small possibility, the craziest thing that you could think of as to why that person didn't was really not doing what you think they're doing, you have to judge them favorably. And even though it's a crazy far out, and part of it is to come up with these ideas of how is it possible that this could truly be something that's not wrong by that person. And the last category is someone who's wicked. I mean, a wicked means like that person is really always doing things on purpose bad. That person you do not have to judge favorably. You see that person doing something. In fact, not only if you see someone doing bad, can you assume that he meant it. If you see something doing good, suspect that he's got some ulterior motive. And while that sounds a little far out, on the other hand, we also know that when it comes to let's say somebody is you're worried about your money, right? You're worried someone's going to steal from you, and you know this guy's a crook, and now he's coming to do you a favor. You're going to be suspicious. You're going to say, wait a second, why is this person doing me a favor? It's probably a scam, right? And unfortunately, that's we got plenty of those going on, right? So that's the idea, is that a person who is known to be a bad person, don't just because they do something good, it does not mean that they're doing something good. It's very, very likely that they have some ulterior motive. And that is also a important thing for us to keep in mind, because sometimes what happens is we tend to want to give bad people the benefit of the doubt, and then it comes back to bite us. Right? So the Mishnah is actually including that judging favorably only applies to people who deserve to be judged favorably, either because they're very righteous or because they're a regular person. And why should you assume that they're doing wrong? It's at least a 50-50 chance they don't do things wrong. So give them the benefit of the doubt. And we'll hold it there for today. Have a great day, everyone.